comments of the candidates. At this time, I'm asking Doug if he goes around and if he can find any other questions that people have. Are there any other questions? Please bring them up. We may not be able to get to all the questions, but we'll do what we can. First question, and it will go to Eric, and it deals with Social Security. How do you plan do you plan to expand Social Security and Medicare, and how can it be done? Specifically, would you address the cap, on lifting the cap on Social Security?
Bill,
all candidates are going to answer the same question.
All three will.
All three.
Firstly, let me say something. I will not promise that I will do anything except that I will work my heart out to get these things done. Nobody can say they're going to do this. I'm saying that generally. I think politicians ought to ascribe more to that rule, that we're going to try hard, but we can't promise to it. I have effectively put expanding Social Security on the agenda. I have effectively had the experience of changing national policy and working with a lot of people. What we mean by that is scrapping the cap. The cap, as you know, people earn up to $118,500. They pay Social Security contributions on all their earnings. Above it, they don't. If we eliminate the cap, and if we do something else, we count non-work income, passive earnings, passive income, investment income, and the like, as part of the Social Security payroll compensation. Not only do you eliminate the shortfall we project, we have more money to also do more. I favor doing many other things. It can be done, we can afford it. We can afford, as Bernie Sanders has proposed, Elizabeth Warren in different ways, others, increasingly large numbers of Democrats are taking this position. We can afford to expand benefits, increase benefits by $100, $150 a month. Will it happen tomorrow? No, but it can be done. Medicare, there's a policy out there called seniors have eyes, ears, and teeth. The idea is to add those kinds of benefits to Medicare. I will work on that. I will work on long-term care for children. These are affordable. Medicare operates the traditional program on about 2.5% of the cost. I am adamantly opposed to not moving towards a single-payer plan. I want to move towards Medicare for all. The way I see doing it is start with the public option, work with states. It's the only feasible way to control the costs and expand, and we need to do something about long-term care. So I like that. I also like something Hillary did this week. It's modest, but it's a good modest. She would allow people who are younger than the eligibility age for Medicare to buy into it at a certain age. It makes a lot of sense. So basically, those are things I would work for, support, and I think they're essential if we're going to help businesses, help families. The largest cost, the largest source of bankruptcies for families, health care. Of course, the laws have been changed so that they can't go into Chapter 9 or into, it's connected to what money has done, to what disrespect for human beings has done, and it's why we have to change it.
Thank you very much, Eric. And just remind everybody that we'd like to confine your remarks to each question about 2 to 3 minutes. 2 minutes would be great because we have a lot of questions. Steve Williams next.
Sure. Thanks, Bill.
You're welcome.
Well, we all recognize and know that if nothing is done, Social Security will be insolvent by 2034. And that's simply unacceptable. Now, we've had a short-term surplus in Social Security, an imaginary surplus, and I'll tell you what I mean by that, that has made Congress fall asleep at the switch. They need to wake up and they need to deal with this issue. And I'll tell you what I mean by an imaginary surplus. The federal government takes money from the Social Security program and then gives it IOUs. All right? That's not money. IOUs are not money. But they count that as money in the system, and they don't count it against the national debt. We need to stop doing that, number one. Number two, we do need to lift this cap that Eric talked about. It's got to be far higher than 118,000, if not eliminated altogether. But in addition to that, we need to increase the payroll tax for Social Security. If we increase it by 3 percentage points, just 3, Social Security will be completely solvent for at least the next 75 years. So if we go from 12.4% with the employer paying 6.2 and the employee paying 6.2, and we bump that up to 15.4%, Social Security will be just fine. And I'll tell you, that's a program we need to protect, we need to fight for, and we need to look out for, because it's always under attack by the Republicans. They want to privatize it, they want to take money from it, and they want to play all kinds of shenanigans with it to take it from you. And I don't think anybody sitting at this table is going to let that happen.
Thank you very much, Steve. Let's go to Colleen.
Thanks. Actually, it's interesting that we're talking about Social Security. As somebody who has worked, my first day of work was my 16th birthday. So I have been paying into Social Security for the last 23 years. And when we talk about, you know, the amount of money that will be going in versus the amount of money that's going out of Social Security, that's what, 2037?
2030.
2030.
When it's not in 2030, it's not insolvency. That's a term that conservative Democrats and Republicans have liked to use.
Well,
It is a period where less money's coming in than is needed to pay. If Congress did nothing, benefits would be reduced. Congress will not do nothing because they don't want to be in Congress when they cut Social Security.
Colleen?
So anyway, I have to.
No, it's
It's
fine.
my wheelhouse. I'm sorry.
No.
The
But anyway,
professor comes out in you.
the point is that I want Social Security to be there when I want to retire. We're talking about, 15, 20, 25 years from now. Well, guess what? That's when I'm going to be retiring. So we need to look at this from my standpoint, my generation, my son's generation, and his kids, and future generations to come. And this is something that I absolutely want to expand. I want to protect Social Security at every turn, make sure that we're doing everything to keep it solvent so that it is there and it is available for us. I would not do anything to support any sort of privatization or moving it in a direction that does not guarantee Social Security for any beneficiaries. My parents are both on Social Security and Medicare right now. They're both retired, and I see firsthand how these programs have benefited them in their retirement years. And I want to work very, very hard in Congress to make sure that we keep this for everybody who is going to be retiring in the next generations to come.
Thank you very much.